Welcome to Softcore History.
Hello and welcome back to Softcore History. It's officially spooky season. My favorite time
Halloween
of the year.
Horror Nights.
Now this is where Lightning Crash SFX.
Yeah, I did an entire intro for this
He
Oh,
did.
that's right. I forgot about
that we've
that.
done for
did.
the last 2
You
years.
did all the set deck too. Look at this. Subscribe to our YouTube so you can see the glorious set deck.
Got in here early,
Yeah.
spread some spider webs.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous work,
I actually
Jen.
just found these all throughout the studio.
Yeah.
Probably, to be
Yeah.
honest, they were filled with crickets. Your main job was picking crickets out of the webs.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't have a cricket gin for him. Anyway.
Where's Eli Whitney when you need him?
Didn't think about that one. My name is Jake Goldman. I'm joined as always by my two co-hosts, Rob Fox and Dan Regester. Before we get started today, I just want to let you know about one thing, our Patreon.
Patreon.com/softwarehistory.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about your sexual harassment allegations.
No.
Okay.
That's not this podcast.
Fair enough.
Yeah. One of the podcasts I listen to a lot, of the few that I do, they're having some issues right now.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
we would never let you go because you control our finances, and we couldn't if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You have access to the bank account. He really.
I would squeeze them out.
Yeah, that's fine.
It'd be incredibly easy.
Do it. Squeeze me out.
I just might.
Fire me. Do it.
All right. If you're asking for it.
No, I'm not.
But yeah, patreon.com/softwarehistory. 2 additional episodes every week. That's 8 total episodes, or sometimes even more, depending on the month. And it's $5, man.
$5, 8 episodes a month.
You can't even get lunch for that nowadays.
You really can't, and it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs.
But you're getting like 10 hours of extra content.
all that content.
But here's the thing. There's more.
Wait, what?
Literally.
What do you mean?
Because there's a whole ass back catalog of
Evergreen content.
Oh, yes.
evergreen content. So it's not just
Except when we talk college football.
yeah, we may mention that every once in a while. MIZ bitches. But yeah, everything on the Patreon, everything on our main feed, everything everywhere we do is evergreen.
Except for this episode. Just kidding.
YouTube.com, softcore history. Tell them Dan sent you.
Please subscribe.
You can also go to softcorehistory.com and get some sick merch. Dan's just been a little machine on shirts lately.
I know.
so-
I keep getting logged out of Shopify, though, so
yeah.
we might have to fix that. But
Is it weird? Does it feel like you're getting squeezed out?
I want to start making shirts every week. So
Let's have fun.
check out new merch.
Yeah.
Why not?
Every week.
Yeah, we're just going to let it rip.
Let it rip. All the
Because who
shirts all the
cares?
time. No,
And
it
then be
doesn't
on the
matter.
lookout for me and Jake. We might release our own pre-workout.
Yeah, you never know. Sky's the limit. Substog, Muscle Holocaust,
Who knows?
2023.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, check that out. Leave a review, Apple, iTunes. You know the deal. That's all the house cleaning. Let's get to the
enough with the
episode.
house cleaning.
Yeah, so it is, Dan refers to it as Halloween Horror
Well, that's
Month.
what it is. I'm tired of
Halloween Horror Nights.
going with spooky.
No, Halloween Horror Month.
Halloween Horror Month.
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, I went to school in Orlando, so Universal did that.
Yeah. It's just that you like mush mouth it. It just sounds like horror.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
Just Halloween Horror Nights.
And
That's
then
right.
A lot of people are going
We're not going to critique how I talk.
Yeah, man. I remember Halloween Horror Nights. We went actually last year for it, and it's still like the dudes with the chainless chainsaws running around.
Well, I pack a chainsaw.
You pack one?
That's getting that ass raw, Jake.
Oh.
You should.
No.
It'd be funny if someone like just really hated someone else that worked at Halloween Horror Nights, and they did like eventually at the end of Oz. Spoiler alert: this episode came out like 30 years ago, but he kills J.K. Simmons with a real knife in a play. Like that, he didn't mean to use it, but the main character didn't mean to use it, but he did. It'd be funny if you just.
I'm sorry, they were doing a play in prison?
Yeah.
They
Look,
do that.
man, HBO, their shows, if they last too long, as we know from Game of Thrones, things get kind of weird and janky.
Like The Wire.
Oz was like their first show, right?
Oz was like the first show.
Yeah.
The Wire, the entire season where they follow a paper.
The news.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, that'd be funny if someone just like affixed a chain to the chainsaw.
Oh, and just got like, oh, he's gonna go out there and murder someone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be pretty funny. I mean, it'd probably be a kid, so that's not funny.
Yeah,
but-
not so fun. But yeah, no, lately we've actually been kind of veering into spooky topics. We talked about gin not too long ago, and that's otherworldly. We talked about Gnosticism and their weird myths.
By
Go check
gin,
out-
he means genies, not.
The alcoholic
liquor.
beverage.
not the liquor. No,
It
That-
took me a second even because I was like, oh yeah, I did do that episode.
Well, he's
Yeah.
also done an episode on Jameson whiskey
Yeah.
yes,
and the founder.
the horrors.
Now,
that
to be
he's witnessed.
clear, almost every one of our episodes is horrifying.
Yeah, it's
Like
history.
my episode on Roman sexuality, which is really actually just a hall of nightmares.
political eunuchism.
That wasn't even part of it. You
Yeah.
just did a whole episode on dudes getting fucking castrated.
Yeah, I know. I
You're
was
like, all right, now we're doing the scary ones, guys.
yeah. No, I mean, it's sometimes you just learn that a eunuch made paper along the way. It's like, oh, well, that's cool, that's good. But yeah, every now and then though, we talk about demons and hell and all that stuff, and I bring up a little collection of text called the Key of Solomon. It's a magical grimoire filled with the names of demons that were binded by none other than King Solomon himself to build the Temple of Jerusalem.
Your guy.
Yeah, the Temple of Solomon, or maybe not the Temple of Jerusalem, but the Temple of Solomon.
Solomon's Temple.
Solomon's Temple, yeah.
Is that the one the Romans destroyed?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the history of the temple, to be honest with you.
Your
All I
history?
what?
Your history?
Yeah, no,
I can tell you the exact day the Vatican was built.
can you?
No.
and I
okay.
can tell you the exact day the Vatican's going to be destroyed.
That's more important, probably.
That's probably a really important day.
Yeah.
That's when the sun goes black and the locusts come.
There is an eclipse coming up this month.
It's a lunar though.
We have a Friday the 13th. We have a solar eclipse.
oh, it's a solar.
And we have a super blue moon or blood moon.
We have super blood moon, yes. We also next year in October, I believe, have a full eclipse over Austin, like a full solar eclipse, which is the sun, dark circle.
You don't have to explain it. We know.
Okay.
It'd be fun to just like be a prophet that no one's impressed by. Like just walk around. Austin wouldn't work because this would just be a normal person in Austin, but just go somewhere normal and just be like, the sky will be black today. But they're just like, yeah, we know.
It's
Science told us.
science. That's like, well, it's like Apocalypto, right? When they were like waiting for the eclipse.
Yeah.
It's like, see, good. We're good.
Good
No
to
more
go.
killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them we don't need to cut anyone's hearts out anymore.
Because God's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, if no one knew about science, eclipse days would be the best day if you knew about them. Because it'd be like,
You're just the
ooh,
one guy.
Yeah.
It's
but-
just a purge, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give it time.
And
Science is out the window soon.
Science is cyclical.
It is. I think it is. I think we're also definitely in a state of like subjective reality right now
man.
versus objective.
I want to be alive long enough to the day where believing an eclipse is just an eclipse is a political belief.
You think that's a fucking? You think that's the moon moving in between the sun?
Can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Well, yeah, the moon's a projection. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
it's a hologram. It's just
No,
that's
it's hollow, I thought, right? What
well,
did that guy say?
it's a couple different.
Well, it's made
things.
of cheese, Rob.
yeah, yes.
There's no way it could be hollow.
What
It's
if
delicious.
What if it was made of cheese and then, an eclipse happened, which means it's getting fucking absolute direct sunlight.
And it just
like
melted?
melting, scalding nacho cheese.
That means
just
it's
like,
just queso.
Just like nukes France. You know what I mean?
Just dripping.
Yeah.
Just too much drip.
Just a cheese beam
Yeah.
takes out the
Of it-
Vatican. Yeah.
Of any country that could get nuked by cheese, France might
is
be
a
the
funny
most
one.
fitting.
Yeah.
The U.S. melted cheese. That would make more sense.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, just a cheddar. Yeah. Well, according to the non-canonical text, we're going non-canonical today.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah, the Testament of Solomon. Solomon used demon magic, or goetic magic, you might call it. Basically, what this means is spells to construct the Temple of Jerusalem. So it is the Temple of Jerusalem, actually.
So
Do you read your own notes?
I'm reading them right now.
what? How high were you when you wrote this?
I'm glad you asked.
You're like, can confirm.
Very. You guys don't write high? Come on.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I
wouldn't
wrote the Hannibal episode on mushrooms.
Yeah, you just channeled Hannibal. Anyway, I gotta say though, it kind of makes sense that some people believe he actually did this with demons. Not that I think it makes sense that demons built the temple, but that people will say anything not to give us credit for building things nicely.
It would be funny if he did straight up enslave demons.
Instead of just having, Jewish laborers do it.
Right.
Yeah, no. Aliens did the pyramids. Demons did the Temple of Jerusalem. Never Jews. Never Jews making nice buildings.
No.
It's fucked up,
But
man.
you didn't do the pyramids, so
Whatever, man.
like that's confirmed. No pyramids.
Yeah, okay, artisans, whatever. What's the difference? It's just made up. Anyway, yeah, the Temple of Jerusalem, made by demons, apparently, according to the Testament of Solomon.
Okay, so this was not the one destroyed by the Romans, by the way. It was
Okay.
destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians.
Oh, classic. Fucking Babylonians, tearing down our walls and stuff.
I know.
Goddamn Babylonians.
The Babylonians were the Jews, Mongolians.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, you guys fucking hated the Babylonians.
Oh, man, don't get me started on Babylon.
Well, you wiped them out.
Good.
Well, I
There's a
don't know if you actually wiped them out, but
Yeah,
they are gone.
Those hanging gardens
Yeah.
ain't shit, bro.
No. Don't you know like how that works? They have a whole like part in the Old Testament where they're just like, King Cyrus of Persia is the greatest king of all time. And it's only because he conquered the Babylonians. And they were like, finally, we're conquered by a nicer guy. Like, that's how grim it got.
Yeah. You got to know, like, when you're praising another conqueror, it's got to be bad.
The
first one.
Persians were actually the good guys in 300.
They kind of were.
Spartans were the dicks.
Yeah, Spartans were the dicks. If you,
Sparta's so overrated, it's not even fucking.
we're going to throw babies off a cliff if they cry with wolves or whatever.
Well, I get that.
Yeah, no.
That makes sense.
Well, in most,
Strengthen the herd.
yeah, you got to cull the herd too to strengthen it.
Getting conquered by Persia was pretty cool, though. They're just like, yeah, do whatever you want.
I mean, just be
taxes,
us,
baby.
be
Yeah,
us.
just pay us.
That's the kind of conquering that people are like, oh, taxes. It's like, do you know how the other conquering works?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Head
fun.
on the stone.
Well, in the Testament of Solomon's most noteworthy passages, the text describes how Solomon was enabled to build his temple by commanding demons by means of a magical ring that was entrusted to him by the archangel Michael. The ring, depending on where you read it, was either a hexagram or a pentagram. So this is like the origin story for both of
Okay.
those, really.
A hexagram and a pentagram.
Yeah, for being magically related.
Okay.
Because people use both in magical rituals. But scholarly opinion on when the Testament of Solomon was written varies pretty widely. Despite texts claim to have been a first-hand account of King Solomon's construction of the Temple of Jerusalem, its suggested dates for its composition range anywhere between the end of the 1st century AD and the High Middle Ages. So we're not sure when it was written, basically. There's a lot of debate right now. So obviously take everything I say this episode with a grain of salt. But it's,
You say this every episode.
Yeah,
I
it's
should
already-
not trust you at all.
It's already called softcore history.
yeah.
Take everything Jake says with a grain of salt. You don't have to say that anymore. You do it every time.
Well, take it with a grain of salt. Please.
like,
Please.
we get it, dude.
Up here bullshitting, baby. So now, though, we are going to be largely talking about the Key of Solomon today. The Testament of Solomon we are discussing right now sets the stage for the existence of the key. But there's also a choice nug from King Solomon himself in the Testament that I just had to share. And this is it. While he describes how he binded demons to bring him different pieces of the temple in the aid of its creation, he also lays out a nice little warning for everyone reading. In it, he describes how he fell in love with a Shunammite woman and agreed to worship Remphan and Moloch, who are 2 demons.
Oh, Moloch. I've heard of Moloch.
Moloch's a big bad,
Yeah.
for sure. Moloch's not a good one. And he agrees to worship them in exchange for sex with the lady.
Well,
Sometimes you got to risk it all for some Shunammite strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
worry
mean-
about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the amount
Get
you
laid.
just nod. You're like, yeah, zodiac signs. I'm a Pisces.
Well,
And then once you have that post-nut clarity, that's when it really hits.
the post-nut clarity is pretty crazy here. Well, it's not post-nut, but close. So Solomon agrees to sacrifice to Remphan and Moloch. But at first, he grabs 5 locusts and he crushes them in his hands as an offering. Immediately.
That's not that impressive.
It's not. But you know who really wasn't impressed?
It's also a dog shit offering.
It's really bad. But you know who was even less impressed than Moloch and Remphan?
God.
God.
Yeah, God was probably not happy.
Immediately upon crushing them for the 2 demons, the Spirit of God was just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to head out. I'm out of here.
Fuck
Peace,
this.
dude. And he departs Solomon's body. And he becomes foolish to both men and demons and God himself. He appears foolish to everyone around him. He has to get favor again from God. And Solomon concludes the story by telling readers to not abandon their beliefs for sex like he did. You know.
They were so wise back then.
Yeah, don't give it away.
I will give up on all my principles and everything I believe in for like the right woman.
Anna de Armas comes in.
Is that just yours now?
It's whatever you want me to believe in, Anna. It's the accent really that gets me.
Anna de Armas, huh? That's your one?
Right now, it's up there. Yeah,
I think that's your one.
That's probably your one.
it's a combination of everything. Yeah,
Accent,
Mhm.
build.
success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Success.
Seems
I didn't know-
sweet.
I didn't know you were into that.
Yeah,
you got a success thing?
Yeah.
I guess not. I'm on this fucking show.
Oh, you're not fucking anyone here.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Give us enough failure.
Let's keep
Yeah.
those sexual harassment claims going.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was Jake who did it to Dan.
I didn't do anything.
He did.
You clear my name right now.
You keep grabbing my ass when I walk by.
do not touch your butt ever. I never touched your butt. That's
fact
a,
that
that's,
you-
that's a lie.
The
I've
fact that
definitely
you
touched your
won't
butt.
yes and this joke is pretty sus.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. Yes, I touched him.
Cut that.
Don't do that.
We'll be going to Austin PD.
Anyway, though, the main point of the Testament of Solomon is that he ran into a couple different demons. One of them in particular was Beelzebub. He runs into Beelzebub,
all right.
and he's able to, using his ring as a shield to protect himself with God's, divinity, bind Beelzebub and get him to start working for him.
I would watch the shit out of this Constantine prequel.
Oh, it'd be great.
Are you kidding me?
It's really just, it's kind of like Captain Planet meets
Yeah.
because he's got the
You just
ring
have,
of
like,
power.
but it's like almost like I'm just imagining like Wonder Woman's golden lasso.
Kind of like
They just
that.
say, get over here, Satan! Get over here, Beelzebub!
And
Rah!
as we know, Beelzebub is not Satan,
Yeah.
is not Lucifer, and we'll get a lot more into
Yeah.
hellish hierarchy later. But
You just like Bill.
it's right now. Hey,
Like,
hey,
what do
hey.
you want? Like, pick up that rock, put it over there.
Pretty much, yeah. So he ran into a couple different demons. So Beelzebub kind of clued him in onto who the other demons roaming around were, and he binded them all. And so like Beelzebub,
Snitch.
yeah.
What?
Well, once you got him, the demon's like, God damn
No
it,
honor amongst demons.
get out. Really?
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be a lot more tight. But yeah, so I think he has Beelzebub help him get a column from under the river. It's like underwater. It's a column that's like a beautiful obsidian. He has that become a part of the temple. He has another demon like use a cornerstone that can't be lifted by men to become the cornerstone of the temple. Basically, he uses them all for their magic to help him out.
I swear, man, this there can't have been no Jews killed after someone read this. Like you literally like an anti-Semite reads about how Solomon enslaved demons to build your temple, and that didn't send an already anti-Semitic person over the they're just like let's go.
Okay. They're working with demons.
Yeah, like I've read it. I knew it.
That's an allegory for other Jews, by the way.
Probably
No.
to them.
Yeah, right.
Also,
Of course.
Rob, people that want to kill Jews, they don't need this.
They really
They don't.
they don't wait for this to show up. They have
This is
plenty.
actually what sent Hitler over the edge.
He saw the Testament of Solomon.
I was on the edge, but this man enslaved demons.
Yeah. Well, you might be asking, what does this have anything to do with what we're talking about today? The Key of Solomon. It has everything to do with it because it kind of sets the stage.
I had
Yeah.
assumed.
Yeah. So according
Is
to
it like receiving the city's key?
no. The key
It's more
is
symbolic.
the Key of Solomon is basically it's the key on how to operate in binding, right?
So it's like a key, like an index, like
It's an
instructions.
index, exactly. So according to the mythical history of the document, as recorded in its introduction, Solomon wrote the Key of Solomon for his son Rehoboam and commanded him to hide the book in his tomb upon his death.
This is how you get Dan Brown books.
This would be a great Dan Brown book as well.
Well, the Key of Solomon exists. You can read it right now. Like I have it on my phone. There's two. There's the greater and lesser.
Of course you do.
There's the greater and lesser keys of Solomon. But after many years, the book was discovered by a group of Babylonian philosophers repairing Solomon's tomb. This is all according to lore. None could interpret the text until one of them suggested that they should ask the Lord for understanding.
Well, like ask their God.
Yeah, I think ask your God, ask their God, whoever it may
and
be.
then the God comes down and he's like, "Yeah, this guy was a dick." So what do you want to know?
And then go with whatever answer you like better.
You know, you might be onto something.
My dad's going to say no, so I'll ask my mom.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you ask your God and you don't like it, ask another. Just keep going. Anyway, they ask their God, and the angel of the Lord appears to the translator and helps him. And the translator gives a promise that he would keep the text hidden from the unworthy and the wicked, after which the angel of the Lord allows him to read it freely. And this is where they say the translations of the Key of Solomon come from. I'm going to highly doubt that as a skeptic, but that's where it's said to have come from. Basically, what they figured out is that Solomon left his son Rehoboam a manual for operating a demon Ferrari, basically.
Right.
Like, it was basically, hey, man, I made this for you. This is how to drive the sick car.
Hey, if you ever want to build dope shit.
Yeah. That's essentially it.
So much upkeep, a demon Ferrari. It's always in the shop.
Always in the shop. And
And the parts, or you have to get them from hell.
you do.
Shipped from hell.
You do.
They're not made in your country.
It's not even an easy oil change.
There's a lot of bureaucracy, too, with demons, come to find out. Like, a lot. Demons have red tape out the ass.
Sounds about right.
And
It is hell, right?
It's hell. And I think it's very funny that throughout the Middle Ages, like, so I'm going off of the idea that all this is actually written in the 16th, 17th century after the Renaissance.
Okay.
I personally think it's inspired by a lot of the Renaissance stuff, which is like, oh, the kingdom of heaven is in you, divinity's in you. You know, it's the inner light. And they're like trying to blend.
So that stuff Jesus said.
Yeah, I mean, but
they get back to it a little bit.
yeah. I think what the lesser and greater key of Solomon is it's trying to use like Kabbalistic magic, also blending like it's up to you and God's divinity. It's a lot of different pieces melded together.
I will say you'll probably find every good mechanic in hell, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like any good mechanics in hell.
Have you ever been to a good auto shop and thought anyone there was going to go to heaven?
No.
No.
Absolutely.
Even
not.
a bad auto shop.
Yeah.
They're actually further down in hell.
There's
Whereas
different layers.
Bad
yeah,
mechanics are
different
further deep.
tiers.
Yeah.
That is true.
But an honest mechanic, he's still in hell.
Yeah. No, it's like he's just right. He's just knocking on purgatory. You know? They're like, man, you murdered 6 people, but you never lied about the cost of parts and labor. So
Hey, you're tatted up. I'm sorry. You can't get into heaven.
You're not getting into heaven with a neck tat.
absolutely not. Do people think that?
So I guess. Fools.
It's like going to a job interview.
Heaven,
Got to wear a turtleneck.
hell has bureaucracy. Heaven has job interviews.
Life is a job interview for heaven.
Yeah, well, that's stupid. Heaven.
Well, that's your resume.
Can you imagine rolling
Your CV.
rolling into heaven? They're like, "What's a fun fact about you?" We know,
We know everything.
God.
but you tell us what you think's your fun
Or
fact.
like, no, what's one of your faults?
Now, if it actually is like some people think, where you have to roll the tape back with God and go over each play of your life,
Yeah.
that is hell.
No, it's just God's like your middle school coach. Like, no, saw you fall flat on your face here when you could have helped this old lady. Where were you at there?
Yeah.
Man, there was a
Missed your opportunity here. Didn't hit the hole hard enough.
Yeah,
There was a great short story I read when I was in grade school, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You know how in like your reading textbooks, there would be like stories, essentially, like short stories
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So sometimes I would get bored as fuck in class, and I would just read ahead, and I was like, I'm just gonna read something. This class sucks. And one of the stories was like, it was basically like you waiting to get into heaven, essentially.
Ooh.
And the way you were judged was like God can't judge you because He loves you.
But I thought
Right.
only God can judge you.
That's a lie. So what he does is he employs.
So many people have that tattooed on their bodies.
They're
well,
wrong.
they're in hell too.
Yeah,
so.
they're in hell. Yeah, it's fine. They like essentially the theme is, or the story goes is like God loves you infinitely, so He can't judge you, but He knows that He can't reward people for any type of behavior. So He just uses judges throughout history as the judge, and He's the witness. And so they just ask him, they're like, give us a rundown on his life. And so God like gives it, like, he's not gonna lie. He's just like, yeah, he's a nice guy. It was like a bank robber who like killed 3 people and then got murdered by the police, went up, and the guy was like, oh shit. And God like explains it all. He's like, yeah, I can't send you to hell. I love you, so I have to have someone else do it.
Oh,
God's
man.
your personal assistant.
God outsources.
Yeah.
God
But
outsources.
he's the witness, so it's just like anything they ask him, he's just like, yeah.
Again, I just can't get behind the earthly like systems of governance behind hell and heaven and
Right.
every story you ever hear. It's like I just don't think it would work that way. Like, they used the same thing we came up with as government. Like, no, I don't think so. But essentially, the Key of Solomon is 2 books. Book 1 contains conjurations, invocations, and curses to summon and constrain spirits of the dead and demons of hell in order to compel them to do the operator's will. So it also describes how to find stolen items, become invisible, gain favor and love, and so on. Yes, you can become invisible with the help of a demon, if you would like.
Cool.
Book 2 describes various purifications, which the operator termed in the book exorcist, by the way. So you're called an exorcist when you're doing this.
Because you're purifying. Are you getting rid of the demons?
You're exorcising them up out of hell into the space you want them to be.
Just any place you take a demon, any transportation of a demon is exorcism.
Kind of, yeah.
Demon gets in a cab, you're exorcising him.
Yeah, well, he's getting some exercise. You take him on a walk, exercising the demon. So, yeah, it's basically about how you need to purify yourself before you get into all this demon summoning because, like, it's bad to not do it.
It's gonna get real dirty.
Yeah, so it covers, like, the clothes you need to wear, how the magical implements used in their operations should be constructed, and, like, what animal sacrifices should be made to the spirits, things like that. The Lesser Key of Solomon lists an order of 72 demons that can be commanded. That's really important. Now, these books are incredibly involved for the setup and for these rituals to go correctly. And by, like, what I mean by complicated is, like, it's so fucking complicated, you would stop reading it. That's what happened to me. I was like...
It's just, like, dense?
It's super dense, man. So, like, in my research on the book, the variables that are required for success are, like, where's the sun? Where's the moon? Where's Venus? Where's Mercury? Like, where's Jupiter? Like, you have to have... So every demon, when you're summoning it, needs to have all these things in the correct place.
Or they won't show up.
And you need to be lighting the right incense. You need to be doing the right geometric shapes. You need to be, like, using the right kind of salt. So basically, there's
sounds like just a phone number, but awful.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like when you go out on a fishing trip and the guide is just making up all these mistakes for why there was no bites.
Yeah. It's
unlucky day.
It's exactly that.
It's a little choppy.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't light the sage before you put the amethyst in the cup. So yeah. So
that's right. That's why that skeleton monkey didn't crawl out of that hole in the ground.
Yeah. No, I mean you actually described a demon.
Wait, really?
There's descriptions and personalities for every demon. I'll go through a couple of them later.
I'll not to sound racist, but I kind of picture all demons to have roughly the same personality.
They don't. They're all very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan this. I got a bunch of demons on set.
That's pretty cool.
Demons,
demon mask,
dragons.
Yeah. I actually wore this to the sex club the other day.
Did you? Are you going back?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, you just said. Anyway, there's so many variables that are required for success in these spells that it would be really easy to ascribe any non-success to any one of the variables not being right.
Okay.
Which is handy for people that want to convince you it's real. Right? Like, you go and it's like, oh, you just need to practice harder and, like, buy my magical herbs.
Right.
Things like that. It's definitely a grift.
And you'll get that demon.
Right. But the variables, like I said, include planets, incense, things like that. I think it's really important to note, like, why they do these things too. I have a big theory about what this really is. I'll get to it at the end. But basically, yeah, if you don't purify yourself, you're going to get got by a demon. And if you don't do everything correctly, it's not going to work. So not only do you have to do purification spells before all these demon spells as well, those are also, like, incredibly time intensive and complicated. One of the big things, though, I mentioned it earlier, is, like, the salt circles and the shapes you have to draw.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting because a lot of, like, the shapes are one of the most important things, right? And I think it's interesting because a lot of people say that Masonic, like, ritual is based off of geometry. Right. And that's based off of the Temple of Jerusalem built by Solomon.
Mason over here.
Well, I've always said the most satanic building in the world, the Pentagon.
I mean, many people would argue that just because of the shape alone. Now, did your ritual, you can say if you want, have any reference to the Temple of Solomon?
As a Freemason?
Yeah.
We didn't acknowledge it, no.
Really?
Nah.
I think you're just messing with me. But no, I mean, like, there's a whole thing on like sacred geometry, how the space and proportions of different rooms can induce different moods, things like that. And that's kind of what Freemasonry takes from there's some linkage here is what I'm trying to get to. I haven't like uncovered it.
I don't think that saying that the space and proportion of different rooms can make different moods is even controversial.
No.
For example, if I shoved you and locked you in a closet, you would be in a different mood than if you were sitting comfortably in a living room.
But you know the feeling like when you walk into a place with a really nice like open atrium and you just feel different?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. I think a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, like a lot of the set and setting and the place of the stars and stuff like that, that's all to induce a certain mood, basically. And I'll get to like my big theory on it later. But one of the demons, I want to just talk about how insane this shit is. One of the demons in the Lesser Key might be familiar to a couple people listening who enjoy horror films. That would be King Payman of Hell, the 8th demon on the list.
King Payman?
King Payman. He is the named demon that the cult worshipped in the movie Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Payman. They all hail Payman. That is a very real demon.
Fuck that movie.
I love Hereditary.
Why do you hate that movie?
Everyone was hyping it up so much.
It was good.
It was fine.
It was a good horror movie.
It was fine.
It was a good horror
Horror
movie.
movies aren't good. It's not my bag.
Okay, well, it's very much my bag. Of all the horror movies I've seen, that's a very good
Found-footage
one.
movies are your bag.
No, that's my guilty pleasure. There's a difference. I have a bag, and I have a guilty pleasure corner where I turn around and furiously watch intently.
You don't like scary movies? You scared?
Yeah.
You get scared. You hide your eyes.
Keep my light on.
You little scared boy.
Check your phone when it gets creepy, so you don't have to look.
Yeah, he's just like furiously scrolling. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made in life, so I haven't had a very hard life, I guess, was coming home from some party or something in high school, turning on HBO, smoking weed, and watching 28 Days Later, just like as 17 and extremely high.
Oh, that doesn't faze me at all. Zombie movies are like, nah, whatever.
Runners were a new thing. This was the first Runner movie.
This is Cillian Murphy, right?
Yeah, this was the first Runner movie, if I recall.
It's a good movie.
28 Days Later is a good movie.
And I just remember being like, just white fucking knuckling the entire time.
Just very high, being like, oh, this could be it.
But I didn't stop watching because the movie was dope.
The movie's just good. Like, I think the thing with like good horror movies is they're good movies despite the fact they're horror movies.
Yeah, I will say this about Hereditary. It was a horror movie first, not a movie first.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I think it's the closest. Like, it is true horror. Like, it's a true horror movie. But I think it was tastefully done. And I thought, like, Toni Collette did a good job in it.
Toni Collette tastefully decapitated herself with piano wire.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. No, it's tastefully done. It was the right amount of gore.
I don't know if tasteful is the right way to put it.
Definitely more tasteful than how the kid got with the telephone post.
That was pretty funny.
I
laughed at that because I laughed out loud because I was like, wait, what is happening in this movie? And then all of a sudden, like, the fucking goony girl who, like, was she mentally ill or something?
I don't know what the deal was
like,
there.
They just
never
cast,
explained
like, a
that.
very interesting looking actress or something. And, like, yeah, she just gets decapitated out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's great. After a party.
Listen, that's
Yeah.
life.
That is life. Life be like that sometimes. Sometimes
Every
you go
now
down
and
a
then
water slide.
someone just gets their head chopped clean off.
Sometimes you go down a slide at Schlitterbahn, you don't come back with a head.
Oh.
Yeah, R.I.P. kid. Anyway, after the movie came out, people just wanted to summon Payman
What,
to
Rob,
be
is
edgy.
that too soon? This was years ago.
It was like 10 years ago, wasn't it? Probably less.
Yeah.
It's like the kid that got his fucking head punted off when he went to retrieve his hat from a leg dangling from a roller coaster.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Don't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
Just, you lose the hat, man.
To be fair, here's the difference. Roller coaster kid, don't walk under a roller coaster. That's insane. Schlitterbahn kid.
but what if-
Schlitterbahn kid was like, okay, I'm getting on this ride. And they're like,
I trust
that this ride is safe to go.
I designed it myself. No design degree whatsoever. I'm not even an engineer.
What if it's a really dope hat, though? Brings the outfit together.
Oh, that's true. True.
Could be lucky.
True. Or a lucky hat. Well, it's not well, he wasn't wearing it.
Well, that's why it was unlucky at that point.
I like
That's
to
why
think he actually got to it.
he got the hat.
And then stood up and was like, ah.
It was
As
very
he went to put it on
Final
his head.
Destination.
Was that a real thing, though, or is this a urban myth? Urban legend?
I'm pretty sure somebody's got their head punted off.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's the physics back that up. He could have died. I don't think he was decapitated, though.
I'm just looking now. Head kicked off by roller coaster.
Schlitterbahn kid.
did not deserve it.
And it did have some measure of decapitation.
Yeah, teen decapitated at Six Flags over Georgia.
Yeah.
This was in 2008, so it was a while back, but yeah, it happened.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's not a good way to go. Anyway, all the fucking edgelord goth kids, I imagine, wanted to summon Payman after this because they saw it in a movie, which, if you want to do this stuff, I guess it's fine. I don't think you're actually going to do anything, but I think it's probably not good for people. Well, they won't be self-aware enough for this, but if you have mental issues, probably don't fuck around with this stuff because you're going to start believing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't mess with this shit.
Now, is Payman related to Haman?
Haman? No.
Okay.
They are not. Haman, I'm not even supposed to say his name. Ooh, that's the Purim guy.
Yeah.
Haman, yeah. But said it.
A little Voldemort action.
Yeah, just we spit when you say his name. He's like our Sherman. Jews.
Oh, for the South?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, you ever say Sherman in the South and someone spits?
I think I yelled.
I think it's died out.
I
but
definitely dunked on an Ole Miss. When I was at Missouri played at Ole Miss in 2013 when we went to the game because we wanted to see the Grove and everything.
Yeah.
And some fucker. That was the first time I've ever been called a Yankee in anger.
That's a lame insult.
And I was just like, we won that war, but I didn't bring up Sherman in particular.
Anytime I shoot a mortar at one of my Southern friends, I yell Sherman.
That's good.
Dope.
That's a good call. So a bunch of people decided to interview some witches to figure out how hard it would be to actually go through the goetic magic of summoning Payman. And this is a quote from one of the witches. Quote, one of the things that you're supposed to do specifically with the Key of Solomon is that you have a magical circle drawn around you, and this is the most important thing. And you have to have a triangle set up just outside of that. And you're wearing the sigil of the demon you're trying to summon, and you'll put that sigil into the triangle as well, and then the demon is supposed to appear within that triangle. If you do it really, really right, supposedly you're supposed to see a physical form appear in front of you. You should physically see a demon at some point. I cannot comment on that, but that's allegedly what happens.
And then you shout, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
That's what started the Salem witch trial. Slumber party games. Mm-hmm. Gotta imagine.
Kind of. It was bitchy girls.
Yeah. To continue the quote, you may even have to do some demon managing, as Payman is listed as one of the 4 kings of hell in earlier grimoires, who some say must be appealed to in the correct order to ensure they obey the magic practitioner. Continuing the quote, I know that's a long one. This type of conjuration of spirits can involve a potentially complex navigation of the bureaucracies of hell, compelling lesser spirits to do one's bidding by resort to the names of their superiors. And if there's one thing that makes me believe any of this is that there's actually like a fucking bureaucracy of hell. So get this. You call up like a lesser demon, right?
Right.
You're like, all right, make me invisible. He's like, I'd love to, but I'm like one of 36 Legion to another guy. You got to call my manager and then
He's got to sign off.
Yeah, he's got to like sign it in duplicate. And also like I'm here, he's not. You got to do a whole different thing.
You need at least 3 forms of identification.
Where's Mars right now? Oh, you're burning Palo Santo? Ugh, he's not coming, man. He's not showing up today. Like, you got to start next week.
Payman doesn't get out of bed for anything less than frankincense and Mars in retrograde.
And if you if you don't offer something good enough, they'll just fuck your life up. Like, if like they'll figure out like, oh man, you really came with the wrong shit. And they'll like also be like, if you came with the wrong shit, you probably didn't do the protection spell right.
Right.
So I'm going to ruin his life.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you made me come here.
Yeah.
Not for the right reasons. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be hell to pay.
So a lot of theologians have tried to assign a hierarchical system based on the titles across many different grimoires, including the key that I mentioned earlier. Most grimoires today that you hear about, again, that's just a collection of demons and how to control them, are inspired by the Key of Solomon, though.
Yeah. Look, everyone steals IP.
Yeah, this is some of the oldest stuff. A lot of people will be like, this is just total bullshit, but I mean, it comes from somewhere. Like, and this is one of the older ones we have. But most important to note is that all of these theologians disagree on everything, as they do, because they're talking about how to rank demons from a book that was either written in 1000 or, 1500.
No, 1000 BC.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Or 1500 AD.
Yeah, right. So who fucking knows?
TIL, today I learned, I didn't know this, that the height of the kingdom of Israel was 1000 BC. I knew that I actually didn't even know that the height of it was under David and Solomon. But I definitely didn't realize they were that old. I thought they were like 800, 700, maybe even 600s. I didn't realize they were 1000 BC.
It's like having a dynasty during the pole era of sports, like Nebraska. No one cares anymore. It's just like, well,
I think they got a BCS in there.
Nebraska did?
Yeah, I think they did.
You might be right in like 2000 or something, like late 98 maybe.
I think Eric Crouch.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, someone finally did their best to sum it up across all these different grimoires and theologians, and these are the 7 distinct titles of all the positions you can have in hell and how they got them, these demons, right? So there's kings, princes, dukes, marquises, counts, presidents. So that's 6, and there's one knight. There's only one knight of hell.
I don't want to fuck with that guy. Who's the knight?
Furcus.
Okay.
Furcus, yeah.
That sounds like a knightly name. That sounds like somebody who's like from Flanders or France or something like that.
Furcus? Yeah.
I'm fucking up Furcus. I'm not scared of Furcus.
Furcus is going to rip your spine out of your back.
Guys, we can't say his name too many more times.
Furcus,
For real?
Furcus. Come on. Come at me, bitch.
Have fun with that. I'm just
Swear
kidding.
to God.
You're not summoning anything right now. You're totally fine.
I brought my salt. I'm good.
You got some salt to throw around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the salt shotgun. Did you actually load it?
Oh, no. Oh, no, Dan.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to me that demons are essentially just ethereal slugs. They just don't like salt.
Yeah.
Like, what happens? Like,
Just salt it.
why salt, too?
I know. Like table salt.
Actually, hold please. Why do demons, we got to figure this out. Demons hate salt.
It's more evil spirits. It's not necessarily demons.
Yeah. Why is salt used to get rid of ghosts and keep out demons? Literally this. Why exactly? No one can be sure.
No one knows.
No one knows. There's a bunch of different answers, right?
What if it's just a ploy by Big Salt?
Dude, big salt,
Big
just
Salt's
big sodium.
just like, hey,
It's like you find
it'll
out
get
that
rid of demons for you.
you find out that Morton's is like Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A. It's just owned by this hyper Christian. He's like, you know what? Everyone would really like buying our salt for scaring off demons.
That should be the first thing advertised in Mississippi that it does.
Yeah.
Put it on your food. It'll keep the demons out of your belly. Yeah.
Y'all like flavor and hate the devil.
Try Morton salt. Yeah, apparently it originates from Buddhism or Shintoism, where salt is used to purify or sanctify places and ward off evil spirits. That still doesn't explain anything.
No.
That just kicks it down the road to
It
Shintoism.
also puts it on religions that Christianity,
does not care about.
yeah,
Yeah. So
this is pretty bad.
that's a dumb answer, and whoever wrote that was wrong. But okay, so here's how they all got their titles. The kings of hell were those angels who were closest to Lucifer when he led the rebellion against God Almighty in heaven. They were promised their own crowns if the attack succeeded, but it did not. And when all the rebelling angels were cast out of heaven and Lucifer was made emperor of his own infernal dominion, these angels received kingdoms of their own in hell to rule, and they got the king level as recognition of their loyalty for being day ones.
So
basically.
Lucifer is emperor.
Yes, Lucifer's emperor
Okay.
of hell. Like, I mean, that's not really like a title. Like, these are all the demons below Lucifer. But princes were demons that were powerful angels who joined the rebellion in heaven just a little after.
Yeah, so not the day
They
one.
needed a little convincing. They were day twos. They did not quickly follow Lucifer, but received rewards in hell according to the attributes they possessed as angels. Dukes of hell were the many angels who joined the rebellion after seeing how many of the higher and more powerful angels had already begun the assault. So most of the fallen angels were granted the title of Duke in recognition of their service to Lucifer. But they're like, oh, man, like, Jim in accounting is joining? Fuck, I got to get on that, man. He's a doer.
He's a smart guy.
He's a doer. Marquis of hell rebelled against God after learning of the promises that Lucifer had made. So the kings and the princes and the dukes,
Right.
they all got these promises like, hey, yeah, you're in. It's like it's kind of like a pyramid scheme, really. Like the
or
later
it's
you
like,
join.
You know, it's just kind of like you bought Facebook when it was at like 110.
Yeah.
You still make good money,
Yeah, we're getting lower on the totem pole now.
but yeah, you know, you didn't buy Facebook stock at $15 or something.
Now, counts of hell are completely different than anything. They didn't join because they believed in Lucifer. I think counts are jinn.
Really?
Because these demons joined solely out of their hatred for mankind and jealousy over God's love for man.
Oh,
which
That is genies.
That's genies.
Jinn, we're like, what? If you don't remember the Jinn episode, in Islam, it's believed that genies were made before people were, and the element they were made from is fire.
Yeah.
Whereas the element humans were made from is dirt or mud or whatever. I mean, this is in the Quran as far as I know. And essentially the jinn, rightfully, I think, if you're made of fire, we're like, why does Allah like these mud people more than they like us glorious fire people?
Yeah.
Mud puts out fire, dude.
That's true. Mud beats fire.
Mud does beat fire because it's wet.
Unless, check it out, the genies turn those mud people into pots.
They can mold us, yeah.
They kilned them?
They killed them.
They killed them. They've been killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just turn us into pottery.
Yeah.
So I think counts would kind of fall into the bucket
Just a
of
fucking genie
Yeah.
laying down a slab of clay.
maybe that's
Well,
the
a
bottle.
slab of just like dead humans and then just,
Just shaping everything.
yeah.
Maybe that's the bottle they get stuck inside of. It's their curse, right? They made a human into a bottle, a genie bottle,
A genie,
lamp.
a lamp. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got stuck in it for their bad deed. God was like, nope, and you go.
Get the fuck out of here.
We figured it out, guys. The knight, Firkus, he's the only knight in hell. He was an angel who loved magic above all, but was prevented from practicing the dark arts by the holy powers. Lucifer promised him the ability to increase his knowledge of all magical systems and to propagate them across the earth. In recognition of his vow, Lucifer appointed Firkus as his sole knight. He's kind of like the guy spreading the gospel of like, dude, dark shit.
So, if I can just ask a question for a second.
Sure.
You're telling me this angel essentially had hobbies?
Yeah. He liked to practice magic.
Yeah, but heaven was like, no, that hobby's not really allowed here. And
like-
Satan was like, hey, I'll let you do your little
I mean,
hobby.
he's
all
just Palpatine recruiting Anakin.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then there's the last role. President is like the lowest in hell. So presidents of hell were servants to the higher angels who rebelled against God and were cast out of heaven for following their leaders into battle. They were the biggest lackeys of them all.
Okay.
Yeah. They were not directly loyal to Lucifer, just their superiors. So they were given the lowest rank amongst the fallen angels. And Lucifer's like, yeah, you just kind of work for these guys now.
Yeah.
Your foot
I think
soldier.
every president in hell is the lowest person there, too.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking American. And
That's
I
right.
fucking hate the president.
That's right, man.
Which president? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Just
matter.
fucking hate them.
Hate the government. Hate presidents. Hate judges. Hate them all. I'm going to go through some descriptions of demons now, too, just because I thought you guys would be interested.
Yeah, I want to hear about demons.
Okay, so the first demon listed in the grimoire is King Baal. Baal, depending on what. how
No,
you
King
pronounce
Ball, dude.
B-A-A-L?
it. Baal. Baal is life, bro. He is described as a hoarsely voiced king with the power to make men invisible, ruling over 66 legions of demons.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a lot of
All
demons.
right, so he's got, well, legion's 1,000, right? So he's got an army of 66,000.
He's
Yeah.
spreading himself thin. No way he's having these day-to-day interactions with his troops.
Well, no, but neither did, Napoleon or Patton.
No, he talked to every single one of the soldiers.
Napoleon's like, good job, Philip.
Yeah, his battle doesn't start till, none of his battles start till like 8 p.m. All of them.
Victor, how's the family?
What are you doing?
The Lesser Key of Solomon describes Baal as appearing in the form of a cat, toad man, some combination of them or other diverse shapes.
He's a horse. He has a horse voice, so it's just like a cat toad like hops up and he's like, do you want to be invisible?
Pretty much. Yeah, you want to see what he looks like?
Yeah.
This is what he looks like.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Charles,
He does look like King Charles a little bit.
doesn't he?
No.
Is it the toad and cat head that throw it off?
No, he kind of looks like Putin.
Oh, he
Oh,
actually
dude,
look
it does look like
Wait, let me
Putin.
say that again.
Yeah,
Dan's right. He looks like Vladimir Putin.
he does look like Putin. Yeah. I'm just going like one demon for each rank. So there's Duke Agarus. He is under the power of the East. He's described as an old man riding upon a crocodile and carrying a hawk on his fist.
I swear to God, if this guy looks like Xi Jinping, I'm going to lose my mind.
I will find a picture of him. Agarus does not look like Xi Jinping.
Let me see. I'll be the judge of that.
Agarus does not look like Xi Jinping.
Let me see.
Okay,
Let me
but
see.
They do both have tails.
No,
well, that's the crocodile.
That's
tail.
Mal.
That's Mal?
Yeah.
I don't know. That mustache is pretty Mussolini. He might be Mussolini. Anyway, this guy's my favorite because he's riding a crocodile. And that's how he's supposed to show himself in your fucking magic circle.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's can't even
by the way, my favorite thing, I forgot to chime in on this, was that the witch was like, now, a lot of the summoning involves sort of demon management. And it's like, yeah. Obviously, if you summon a demon, you're going to have to, like, be managing that demon.
Yeah, of course. Like, you got to talk to them very directly, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, mince words or else they'll be like, what? Fuck you. Like, they'll just ruin your life.
Yeah.
I don't want to micromanage a demon. I'm not
You
gonna tell
have
them
to.
what do.
You have to be very specific or else they find loopholes. That's the whole thing.
What if you just bring them up and they're like, you're just like, suck my dick. Interpret that.
They'd probably be like,
And then Ball's just like, as
Do you
toad,
want-
as toad or cat.
yes, let's say, do you want the toad head or the cat head?
Yeah. Like toad, obviously. Good lord.
Well, you do want a demon in the sack.
It's true.
You want an angel in the streets, but a demon in the sheets?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Agaris teaches languages. He stops and retrieves runaway persons, which is interesting. Like, why does he do that?
Well, that used to be a profitable business. You can ask William Travis.
Yeah, that's Big Milk.
Those cartons will get you.
Imagine a demon just coming up with a milk carton.
He
It'd be funny. It'd be funny if Milk has been doing that since before the Civil War, and it just used to be runaway slaves. It was just wanted posters on the milk, and then after all the slaves were freed, they were like, "Well, we got to pivot to kidnapped kids, I guess."
well, got to do something. The space ain't gonna sell itself. Find some grieving mothers. Anyway, Agaris can also cause earthquakes, and he can grant noble titles. There's Prince
Way
Orab.
to bury the lead. He'll teach you languages. What was another dumb one he had?
Retrieving runaway people.
Retrieving runaway people.
Also causes earthquakes.
Can rip the earth in two.
And give you royalty, I guess, status.
So yeah, you're like, I don't have anyone that's missing. You might not be very useful. It's like I can destroy any city you want.
Nah.
Oh, okay, and then make you king of something. Oh yeah,
Could have started with that.
that you.
Agaris.
Yeah, you need to flip your list, buddy.
No, he's limited, all right? He can only do it where the tectonic plates are.
Either way,
He's like, Des Moines, I can't do it.
What's that? The Mystery Men? Do you remember that movie? With it was like
Ben Stiller
and Kel Mitchell. Kel Mitchell played a superhero that could only turn invisible if no one was looking at him.
Oh yeah,
That was great.
He's like Boo from Super Mario.
Pretty much, yeah. But if you look at him, he just is there.
see him. Yeah.
Prince Arabis is the next one in the prince level. He answers questions and gives one power and control over others. So if you want to do like one thing to a person, like have one power over them, he can help you with that.
Okay.
He protects from the persecution of evil spirits and also from enemies. He will put a stop to slander and gossip, so he just cuts that shit out.
So if you get like Me Too'd,
Yeah. You can hit up Arabis.
yeah,
He-
be like, hey, shut this story down.
This is one of my favorites of his. He can discern the present.
What?
So he knows what's going on
I
in
guess
the
that
moment.
makes sense if you're like, hey, what? Like if you're like trying to do a business deal or something,
Yeah.
you're like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, yeah, he can also foretell the future. So I burying the lead again. He is the patron of horses, the demon patron, I guess, and he appears as a hybrid black stallion person bucking with lightning. So he's kind of like a horseman. I will pull up a picture of him for you right now. He's ridiculous looking. All of these guys are ridiculous, and I love them all.
What's his name?
Orabis, Orabes.
Did you say there was an Eligus?
Eligus? I haven't said an Eligus yet.
Eligius? Okay, well, Saint Eligius or Saint Eloi is the patron saint of horses. So I was just wondering if there was a.
This is your boy, Orabis.
Oh Lord, that guy's gonna fuck you up.
He's a black stallion, man.
Come up. Run up, dog.
That thing, he kind of looks like he would just slap fight you. Like he wouldn't like throw fists.
Just Ric Flair chop after Ric Flair
Yeah,
chop.
that's all he's doing.
Woo!
He'd definitely make that noise, which would be horrifying from a demon too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Some demons, by the way, are hot.
Okay,
They're
I
hot
would hope
demons.
so. None of them actually look very good right now.
Lore is a mighty great marquis of hell who has 30 legions of demons under his power. He causes great battles and disputes. He makes gangrene wounds caused by arrows.
And he has rock hard
I
abs.
feel like that gangrene thing was a bigger deal back when they invented him.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you get shot by an arrow, you're gonna die.
Yeah, for sure. No, so he like makes sure like if you're going into battle, it's like I want all my arrows to cause gangrene.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, you
Whereas,
got it.
like now, antibiotics kind of neutralize that power.
Right. He is described as a really gallant, like handsome archer.
Okay.
Like kind of like a Robin Hood type guy.
Or a who'd Orlando Bloom play in Troy?
Um,
Paris.
I don't
Is Paris? He
know.
played Paris.
I don't know, Rob. The Eagles' gangrene defense in the 90s, pretty formidable.
Was it the 90s? I thought it was like the 70s.
It was Papa Ryan.
I thought it was when Dick Vermeil coached him.
No, it was Ryan.
Gangrene.
Gangrene defense was under Ryan.
Okay.
Um,
Y'all didn't win shit.
No, Buddy Ryan did not win anything. But, we were fun.
there's President Marbus of Hell. He's the great president of Hell, governing 36 legions of demons. He answers truly on hidden or secret things. So, like, if you want to know where something is or some secret knowledge that you don't know yet, he'll tell you the
So
truth.
it's like, hey, were there aliens at Roswell?
And he'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, did fuck, I'm like totally blanking on the assassin's name. Did he kill JFK? Did Lee Harvey Oswald kill JFK?
Nah, man.
Nah, it'd be funny if he was just like, yeah, actually.
It's funny.
Hell of a shot.
One of the most common things about these, they all talk hoarsely. So, like,
A lot of smoke.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, totally. All of this has to be done in an incredibly dim room, by the way. So, like, when you see them, you kind of see them because, like,
Plausible deniability.
right, exactly. He causes
For who? For everyone. For the demons, for you.
It's just fun in your house, really,
Yeah.
with shapes and salt.
It's really the journey, not the destination.
He causes and heals diseases. He gives wisdom and knowledge in mechanical arts. So I guess he can help you like rebuild your engine.
His legion's all the mechanics we were talking about.
Yeah, it's Marbus just has a Jiffy Lube down in hell.
I just knew it.
That's President Marbus. He's really good at oil changes. And
By the way, it makes sense that all the mechanics work for the lowest.
president, yeah, just
Yeah.
the lowest one. Yeah, he is. He's depicted as a great lion that, under the conjurer's request, changes shape into a man. So he'll show up as a lion first, and you have to be like, "Hey, Marbus, chill out.
Yeah, I get it.
Turn into a man." He's like, "Fine, I want to just be a lion."
But a hot one.
Yeah, yeah. You can ask, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look at some Uggo.
Real quick, King Payman is actually described as a very like flamboyant man that rides a camel, and he talks very loudly. He's super arrogant, and like he has a bunch of people just like playing tambourines in front of him. He kind of looks like a Manson family person.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was almost picturing like Dionysus.
Yeah, but Count Furfur is the last one I'm going to talk about. So we hit all of our notes here. Count Furfur is a powerful great count of hell, being the ruler of 26 legions. He's a liar unless compelled to enter a magic triangle where he gives true answers to every question. He speaks with a rough voice as well. He causes love between a man and a woman. He can create storms and teaches of secret divine things. So like hidden God knowledge.
Okay.
He speaks on, not corporal like man knowledge.
But I like that too.
Yeah. He's depicted as a deer or winged deer. And to some authors, he changes from deer into angel when compelled to enter the magic triangle. Now, all of this, to say the least, is what you want to make of it. Like, I mean, if you want to dive into this stuff, it's pretty interesting. It is a boring read. I never thought reading a book of demons.
About demon, like I'd hand, but it's here. That's what you really need to know, though, right? Like, if you were handed a manual, a time, or if someone was like, "Hey, here's a time machine. This is a real fucking time machine, but you have to read this manual."
Yeah, and it's
on the time machine,
and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard to make it work.
Like you would be bored to fucking tears reading the DeLorean's manual.
I will be real with you. You could tell me step by step how to make $1 billion. If it's like longer than 3 pages, I'm not going to read it.
Why are you so hoarse?
Are you a demon?
Because I think I have COVID.
Really?
I've been coughing all day.
But now you're hoarse. You weren't horse earlier.
It just keeps coming up.
He cleared it up. Not demon yet.
You're green like a toad.
Perhaps the
Green
demon's coming out within me.
So, what I think all of this really is, I'm going like hyper practical here. Everything's about alignment of your room, directions you need to be facing, shapes you need to be looking at, including sigils, which sigils are just very complex shapes drawn to represent something. You know, you can make a sigil out of anything, really. But it's all, I think, mental entrancement. So I think all of this really is like, I don't think Solomon binded physical hell demons. I think what he's doing is just hardcore meditation.
Yeah.
Because this stuff takes a long time. It takes repetitive movements. It's very ritualistic. There's certain steps you have to go. There's things you have to smell, things you have to say. I think it's all about getting yourself into the right mind space in order to unlock. These demons are just mental states that allow you to do something differently. So, like, think about it this way. You know, you have a big presentation, right, in the morning, say, or like in a week. And you want to make sure you are in the right headspace and you want to make sure you deliver on it. We don't have like, what do you want to call it? Self-help training and like corporate management training in 1700 or 1600. What you have is superstition and like, yeah, or like this thing you can do. And yeah, sure, you're committing a dark art or whatever. But at the same time, you are spending so much time focusing intently on the thing you want that you're tricking yourself into like operating in a way that you're going to get it by doing all of this stuff. Like you're programming yourself through physical shit. Something that's really common that's come out in like the last probably 50, 60 years is called chaos magic. It's basically taking all of the shit from the lesser and greater keys of Solomon and being like, look, you're not actually summoning a demon. You're just going to a place in your head. So what if you just do it that instead of like all this bullshit, dancing around, asking for demons, trying to pierce the veil? You just sit intently and think about what you want, and you make your own little sigil, and then you do a ritual, whatever makes sense to you.
The most modern thing I've ever heard. Hey, man. Just like, you know, you can do whatever you want.
Solomon is so unimpressive that I can't even recall or think of somebody that is named Solomon that has done anything notable.
Solomon Patton. That's a athlete, right?
No.
No.
The only athlete I can think of is Solomon Hill.
Who's that?
Pretty average basketball player.
Yeah, he's not that good.
Yeah, wasn't King Solomon the one that was like, I'll cut this baby in half?
Yes, that was King Solomon. Who was like, all right, we'll figure out who the mom is. We'll cut it in half, and you can each have half.
And the one lady that was clearly lying was like, that sounds good.
Which, what? The only thing I can imagine is that King Solomon was like, oh, this isn't going to tell me who the real mother is by her getting upset. It's going to just confirm to me that the woman trying to steal her baby is, in fact, insane.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Because, like, no right person would be like, yes, that makes sense.
He should have followed through. Give him each half.
Nope, I made my ruling.
That's a classic, like, Old Testament way of doing it. It's like, all right, stab your son.
Yeah.
Kill him.
Man, they just want you to stab your kids. So
they
much.
want you to get as close as possible. But what'd you guys learn today?
I learned that, you know, the first temple of Solomon was built by demons, or the first Jewish temple was built by demons.
Not Jews. Yeah.
Not Jews.
If you believe in non-canonical texts, like the Book of Enoch.
I prefer my own fan fiction to what really happened.
But also, what's the difference between a Jew and a demon, you know?
Wow.
I think that's kind of what you're alluding to, right?
No, that's what you just said out loud. I didn't
No,
allude
I
to
think
anything.
that's just what the text means. Everything you just read, it's not actual demons, it's just Jewish people.
You're the guy Rob was talking about earlier. The anti-Semite that just needed the push.
Dan's been eyeing that shotgun in the room all episode.
The salt one?
No, the real one.
The real one.
Damn it. What'd you learn, Dan?
I learned that I can take this night.
Based on name
Oh,
alone.
Furcus? Furcus?
I'm not getting murked by a dude named Furcus.
That is a 90s nerd character name.
It's like Ferguson.
yeah,
from-
Furcus.
I'm shoving this dude in a locker.
Furcus. It's like, oh. Yeah. Who's Hitler?
It's Man, I don't know. Solomon, I guess.
We just named like 9 demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of them are real, head honchos. Maybe
Baal.
Lucifer.
Baal, man, Lucifer could be Hitler.
You know who? It's Lucifer or Solomon. I guess Lucifer because he made all the demons. It's really like was Hitler the worst guy in the Nazis? No, there were people under him.
Himmler was arguably worse.
But who enabled them? Who let them loose on the world?
Yeah, totally. It's definitely that. Well, hey guys, if you want to summon some demons, check out the Lesser Key of Solomon. Waste your time for 9 hours and find the right day where the sun and the moon and all that stuff's aligned. Let us know how it goes.
Do it, especially if you need a boyfriend.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it for boyfriends.
Yes.
Look up the right one. Make sure it's the right one. Have a good offering too.
Right.
Don't be coming. If you come for a demon, you come correct.
Or I would say, if you just need sex, get fucked by that guy who was like 1/3 human, 2/3 horse.
Yes.
It was like a minotaur, but only the torso was human.
Yeah, but only
Yeah.
1/3 of his penis, is human.
No, penis.
It's actually the first part.
It's
the
a
rest,
horse with a human cock.
It's very unimpressive.
That's the worst thing I've ever pictured.
It's a I think you should leave bit. It is. Like
is it?
It's a horse. There's a bit about a horse farm where all the horses have small dongs, so the guys don't feel emasculated by the
I don't watch
horses.
that show, but
It's very funny.
I always see the memes.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today. Again, check us out. Leave a review. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to us there. Check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/softcorehistory.
Leave a review. Apple and iTunes, Spotify, 5 stars. Apple, just leave a review, please, if you can. Text, write something out, make it funny. And actually,
We do have some
let's
reviews.
let's read some reviews.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yay, review time.
Let's see how many reviews we've gotten since that call to action.
How many you got?
The CTA most weeks.
All right, last one was titled Deeply Educational by Truly Hard to Say. I consider myself a very highbrow man, and this by far the most highbrow media I consume. 5 stars. That is sad.
That's
You should really, somebody check on you.
Yeah.
up your game, bro. You should be the lowest.
Right. Making history fun. Love this podcast. I almost get a full heart on every time I get a notification for a new episode. Is that gay? Or can it just say no homo and it'll be fine?
It doesn't matter if it is or it isn't, as long as you're enjoying yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, legally you cannot get out of a murder charge if you say no homo before you kill someone.
It doesn't work.
No.
No, it doesn't work in any aspect.
I get a lot of emails about that.
You will still be accused of being gay anyway.
Yeah.
No murder.
Is
yeah,
this
no
show
murder.
an aphrodisiac by Caleb Hutt? Long-time listener here. One time while I was having sex with my girlfriend, she also listens to the show. The playlist I put on was too short to finish the deed, and Spotify autoplayed an episode of this show. We let the episode play. Needless to say, we both finished. Thanks, Dan, Rob, and Jake.
I hope you finished the episode as well. We like when you listen to the end.
Well, look, after you fuck, you're going to, like, just lay there for a little bit.
Well,
and then
aftercare,
there's cleanup.
yeah.
So, like, you're going to... I don't know how long they were fucking or whatever, but, like, you're going to... I feel like you get, like, an extra 10 to 15 minutes of just, like, chill time.
Yeah, totally. Let us know if it was the facts or the banter that got you there. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Whose voice, really?
Yeah,
Whose
that's
voice
true.
did you come to?
Whose voice did you finish on?
Not the lady, the man.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't care what the lady did.
Anyway, that's it for our show. Thanks so much for listening. For Rob Fox and Dan Regester, I'm Jake Goldman.
You just got soft served.